I think this running back room overall just performed really well this season. It's hard to really sit here and want to do anything different with it. It's the NFL, things change quickly. It's a new team every year, right? Ty Johnson, I thought was really great in a number of areas. He contributes on special teams. When we talk about James Cook not really being the finisher of halves in games and the pass pro option and all of the things that I feel like we don't really lean on James Cook to do is basically what Ty Johnson does. Thought he was great in pass protection. He has some sort of ridiculous chemistry with Josh Allen that he's all of a sudden your third down running or your third string running back in there for pass pro, ends up down the field making these ridiculous catches, looking like he was wide receiver one. Just has that innate ability to be on the same page with Josh Allen when things break down and we're out of structure, and he finds a way to get open. He finds a way to make himself available and make the play. The other thing here for me is I think it's a role that you're gonna look to fill regardless of what happens with Cook. Maybe you're drafting Cook's replacement. Maybe you think it's Ray Davis. I think that position still has value for a guy like Ty Johnson. And if you're going to fill that role anyways, Ty Johnson's going into either his 7th or his 8th year. I believe it's his 7th. And it's not like he's going to get this crazy contract to, oh, we saw what you did in Buffalo. We think you're RB1. We'll give you $6 million a year, 7, whatever. It's kind of he is at this point in his career. And I think it's a very high-end RB3, maybe RB2 in some places. And just kind of the sake of continuity, seeing what he's done with this team, I think it's a no-brainer to bring him back. And then finally, Ray Davis. Limited action in what we from him in his rookie year. But what we did see from him was pretty awesome. And if you've been listening to this show for a while, I was super psyched about Ray Davis when we drafted him. My bold offseason prediction was that he was more stylistically what the team was looking for, and that by the end of the season, he would end up taking the quote-unquote bell cow role from James Cook. Now, we did see that was absolutely empirically false, did not happen. But we did see Ray Davis get some pretty significant usage, and it just seems like every time he was given an opportunity, he was flashing. And he contributed in the passing game. He had solid runs. We had one game that James Cook missed, and he went for over 150 scrimmage yards and showed a nose for the end zone. And he just has a really great skill set. He's my style running back of, got not necessarily the break away from you speed, but he's fast, physical. He's the type of running back that I look for, especially in this type of offense that has Josh Allen, and you don't need your running back to be the player that's breaking the game open for you. It's when you want to use the run, can you consistently get 4 or 5 plus yards? And that's the type of running that I see from Ray Davis. It's physical, it's cut, get downhill. And then he's got the wheels to break a big one if the right situation presents itself. And I think more than anything, and we'll get into this when we get to the offensive line, I think it's just that. I think this offensive line was awesome in front of these running backs. And yes, there's differences. There's tiers and skill levels. But when you are that good up front, you're going to make a lot of running backs look real nice. And with the continuity that should, and I don't see how, barring any season injuries, that offensive line should still be very much intact. I think this could be kind of like a Tremaine Edmonds situation where, really like this dude in James Cook. We really, everything he does, we acknowledge that he's a very good player, but we have to make concessions to the cap in certain places. And Edmonds, it was Bernard coming up through the ranks, and that one was a little bit more of a question mark to us because we hadn't really seen Bernard play. But this could be a situation where it's like, yeah, we really like you, but the numbers affirm 15, we can't do it. And we got Ray Davis waiting in the weeds. We'll go into the draft and take the next guy and repeat this cycle. And that's kind of always the stance that I've had on running backs is like be afraid to invest the draft capital in these dudes. And I'd stay away from first round, but second, third, fourth round, significant investments at the position and let them play out their rookie contract and just keep feeding the pipeline. And in theory, I still think that's a very sound strategy, and I want to continue that strategy. It's a whole nother thing to put the face of James Cook on that strategy and be like, yeah, I'm good without you. And like I said, he was one of the most dangerous and consistent weapons that the team had this year. So it's it's a lot easier to do that gymnastics in my head when I don't have to put it into practice with my guy, James Cook.